I realized the ball wasn't quite big enough. So, up here, I didn't use snapping when I moved the anchor point. Notice up here is snapping. You want snapping on so it makes sure to snap right to the bottom. And the other thing that's handy to do is go over to Align Layers. If you don't see it, go to Window, and if it doesn't show, there it doesn't show, you can make it show again, Align, and I'm going to center it. I guess it's centered. All right, we're going to position and scale the keyframes to make it look like it has mass and volume and speed. So first I'm going to start with position. I'm just going to give it a position keyframe. Hold, I have to go to the move tool, hold the shift key. I have to click on the object first and then hold the shift key. Pull it up out of frame. And then I'm going to go about 15 frames. Notice I have a keyframe there. It's blue. When it's not activated, it's gray, but I don't need it anymore because I'm going to move. Once you initiate a stopwatch move, a keyframe move with position, see it's blue, this little stopwatch. Once you initiate it, it will automatically drop keyframes when you make a move. So I'm going to grab it. Haven't even moved it and it initiated the keyframe. I'm going to hold the shift key and bring this down to the bottom. There. So now we've got a very straight kind of move. I can preview it. That's all it's doing. See this thing here? This is your area that will preview. I don't need the whole 6 seconds. I only have a little more than, let's say I pull this down and I think, oh no, I don't need that much. I can go over to 1 second, here's 1 second, and hit the N key. To start it, let's say you're somewhere down the timeline and you want to just preview a part in the middle. Let's say we wanted to preview from the 10th frame B, and that's what it'll preview, although I want to preview it from home, so I'll put the B there. You can drag them, you can use the keyboard shortcuts. Now we need scale to happen. So right at about 10 keyframes, or 10 frames, sorry, we're going to change the scale, and it was locked. I forgot it's always linked. You have to unlink if you want to change the different parameters, and we want to keep the same size. So I'm going to make the width 75, and I'm going to make the height 125. So it's getting that elongated look sense because it's falling down. And then we're going to go to this keyframe. Now, because this keyframe is in position, I can get right to it by this little arrow. So it's at the right keyframe, but I want to put a scale keyframe in here. And the scale keyframe I want to put in here, you can put a blank one in if you want by clicking there, and there's a keyframe. But I want to edit the keyframe because now I want it to be the opposite, 125 and 75. So we're getting there. We're not quite there yet. Let's take a look. We can preview this. But it's not quite there. So now what we have to do, it has to get back into its shape. And that's not going to happen overnight, right? So I'm going to stop this by pressing here. I'm going to move down 5 keyframes to 20. And I'm going to change this to 90 and this height to 110. So I'm sorry, I did it backwards. 90 and 110. There, that makes more sense. And then I'm going to move up here and I'm going to have it go back to 100 and 100. Let's see that. That's a little, not quite where I want it to be. Let me see what else I need to. I was a little in a hurry because it needs to stay there for a few keyframes. And then it squashes, and then it stretches back up. So I need to get a little bit of time in there for it to take its action. And all of a sudden I thought, gee, that seems awfully quick. Now let's see. That makes a whole lot more sense. Because it's got to hit the bottom, it's maintaining the same volume, and it starts to move as it starts to hit. You know, it has to give it a second to hit, which I didn't give it. 5 frames is very short, and I didn't give it that little bit. But the beauty of After Effects is you can move this stuff around ad nauseum, and I kept thinking, what's wrong with that? There's something missing, and that's because I didn't let it sit on the bottom for 5 frames, and it's really not that you watch it sitting, but it gives it time to start to move back to the volume that it's supposed to be, which is at 100%. So there you have it, keyframing a squish or squash and stretch. And we've done some keyframing. We haven't done anything too fancy, but it looks pretty good. And that's it.